Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Athena's Armor. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is my first official full-length reading that I'm doing here, so I'm really grateful for everyone who's tuning in and watching right now. The way this works is that sometimes I do, but usually I don't come already with a pre-established, message or intention with the reading. What I'd like to do is ask God and Spirit, is there a particular message that would be most helpful to the larger collective of everyone who may be watching this video, myself included? So that is what I'll start out by doing. Place the cards. God, we ask you to deliver any messages that may be helpful or useful for any of us watching this video, or any of us in the collective who may need to hear or know any information you have, but for some reason we may not be hearing or getting or receiving. God, we ask that only your energy and the energies divinely ordained by you be allowed in this reading and in our lives at all times. And I'm just asking for the message, any messages right now. And they just told me pull the cards. Okay, so I'm gonna shuffle and pull the cards. I should tell you guys straight up, my shuffling, it looks rudimentary, for sure. I can agree to that for sure. But it's never stopped me from getting good messages, so I'm sorry if you get ASMR from the shuffling. Mine might not be the best. Okay, I'm gonna pull the cards. They told me just pull the cards, so I think whatever we pull is gonna be helpful to us. Okay, pull it right to left or left to right? Left to right. Wow, interesting. Okay. So I start out with a 3-card spread, and if I need clarification, I ask for that and I continue to pull. Oh, I am using the Mahogany Tarot deck by Kasheera Hickson, which I think is just so beautiful. As you can see, it's based almost exactly on Rider-Waite Tarot. And it's so beautiful, and it's such a nice representation of the African diaspora. And so I love it. Yeah, so interesting. We have 7 of Wands in reverse. We have the Tower, and we have the Page of Cups. Let me just try and get a little clearer on what I think is being shared. Okay, so when I asked for clarification, I heard the message, don't fight it, which I think is referring almost directly to 7 of Wands and the Tower. It seems to me that you may be going through a Tower moment, which we know is any situation in life that totally shakes up your foundation. Any moment in life, a Tower moment can be a breakup, it can be a death, it can be loss of a job, it can be health issues and loss of, abilities that you once had. It can be loss of identity. It can be anything, but that's typically what a tower moment is when this structure you've built called, quote, your life, or, quote, your identity crumbles for whatever reason. That's a tower moment. And so when I heard the message, don't fight it, the 7 of Wands in reverse is saying where we may be tempted to fight the tower moments, defend ourselves against these things that are causing us the tower moment, right? This is saying put your defenses down. Don't fight it. And I think the Page of Cups, normally people say the Page of Cups, if we're doing a love reading, is like a young man or a younger man, or anyone coming in with a humble message of love, maybe not super confident, but the feelings there. As we know, cups are emotion, right? Water, cups, anything marine related is emotion. Page usually does mean in the beginning stages, right? It goes page, knight. I put Queen and King on the same level, just different manifestations, but page is the beginning. I think what it's saying is that you have this Page of Cups in you, and it's not being destroyed by this tower. It's still there. It may feel small. This sense of purity that you have, our innocence emotionally, is still there. It may feel small. It may just be like, hey, the little fish being like, hey, I'm still here. You know what I mean? But it's there. And I think what it's saying is to help you not feel the need to fight against everything that's happening during this tower moment. Access this energy of the Page of Cups, no matter how small. Acknowledge it. See how he's acknowledging the little fish? Maybe what we're hearing is no matter how small it may feel, those little pockets of innocence and pure joy and well-being and emotional healthiness, no matter how small they may feel, we can acknowledge it still in these heavy moments. Let's see. Should I pull for Yes, I'm being told to pull for clarification from the bottom. Okay, I pulled for clarification. 2 of Pentacles. So 2 of Pentacles talks about decisions, like most of the two in the different suits, right? Pentacles we know is material, so maybe this tower moment that you're going through involves deciding who you are in a materialistic sense. And when I say materialistic, I don't mean like greedy or like preoccupied with material things. When I mean who you are in the world, right? How you present to the world. Maybe what the 2 of Pentacles is clarifying is that you're making a decision. And maybe this tower forced you into this spot, into this period of making a decision who you want to be. Doesn't it have to do with money? Yeah, I'm hearing for some people it does have to do with money. For some people, the tower may be a decision between a job, one workplace or the other, or being your own boss or working for someone else. But not for everyone. I also hear time. Maybe some people are deciding what to dedicate their time to. And that doesn't even have to be a job. It could be, you can have options between two hobbies or two people or two groups. And I think maybe what we're seeing, Spirit, correct me if I'm wrong, but Tower is sorry, I got distracted. Whatever Tower moment is happening in your life is the genesis of this decision. And the decision may feel a little like a fight to you. But I think that's what Spirit is telling us is, don't let it feel so much like a fight, or when you, not telling you don't do or do, but when you feel like it's a fight, all of these things that are coming up that are forcing you to make these choices and have caused the Tower, try to access the open energy of this young, open-hearted, innocent, emotional energy of, what is my emotional side saying? What is my inner self saying? What is this part of me saying? Really pay attention to it, you know? And that can help you make your decision. Being told to talk about the past. The past, the past. I just keep hearing the past repeated. I'm going to clarify here. Let me pull this one. Knight of Cups. Wow, interesting. Okay. Knight of Cups in the past. You may be feeling, and let me double check if I'm right. You may be feeling a type of regression almost caused by the Tower moment that you're going through. And what I mean when I say that is, you may have in your past felt like a Knight of Cups. You may have felt, really emotionally evolved or healthy or mature or stable, right, in your past. And in this Tower moment, you may feel like you're reverting back to a Page of Cups. So, like, for instance, let's use love as an example. Let's say in the past you were very, how should we say, you were feeling more confident. You were feeling more brave. You were feeling more self-sufficient, right? If somebody wanted to leave you, if somebody started breadcrumbing you or slow ghosting you, maybe in the past you felt like, and you could cut it off and be like, I deserve better, I'm cutting it off. And it didn't bother you as much. And maybe you're finding in this Tower moment, you're reverting back to a Page of Cups where you're like, wow, my feelings are really hurt. And I'm sort of, stressing about this a little bit. What I'm hearing, or I guess I can't say what I'm hearing, but from what I'm getting from this combination is that that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because it shows honesty. Again, that's what we keep narrowing in on, is the honesty of the Page of Cups, the emotional honesty of the Page of Cups. Because if we look at the Knight of Cups, look at the Knight of Cups. Look at his facial expression. There's almost, I don't want to say a disdain, but there's almost an arrogance there, right? Which it's not always bad to be, a little arrogant or convinced. I'm not arrogant, I'm convinced, right? He's sort of looking at the cup like, I own you. We look at the Page of Cups. There's that little fish again. We can interpret as your inner self. And the Page of Cups is paying attention to him like, oh, okay, yeah. You know what I mean? You hear what I'm saying? So there's a virtue to Page of Cupness over Knight of Cupness. Knight of Cupness. I'm just making up phrases now. But there's a virtue, I think, to that if, instead of maybe being fearful or worried about what you might feel like is backsliding, change your perspective a little bit and look at it like, there's a virtue to being honest about my emotions, even when they scare me, even when they make me feel vulnerable. Instead of feeling like, oh, I'm in charge of you all the time, right? And what I want to be clear about, I'm being told to pull another card. Okay, interesting. And what I want to be clear about is when I say being honest with your emotions, that does not mean that you have to follow your first emotional impulse. That's not what that means. Listen to it, take it seriously, explore it, and then figure out what's the best thing for you to do. Now, I just pulled the 10 of Pentacles. There's a lot going on in this card. Tens, as we always say, is like the culmination in the suits of that suit. So 10 of Pentacles is the culmination of, what would we say, material success, right? You have the old man, who I see is either his son and daughter-in-law or his daughter and son-in-law, his granddaughter and grandchild, his 2 dogs, his home, his estate. You can see the family crests on the wall. This is a person towards the end of his life covered in, it almost looks like the King of Pentacles robes, and it shows the fruitfulness. It's a fulfillment of material desires. Sort of tying into what we were saying here. But material fulfillment looks different to everyone, right? How you reach this point. Let me see if am I on the right track with this? How you reach this point. I'm hearing the word decisive, which again is tying me back to this. And I'm wondering if what we're getting is, yeah, okay. To get to this point, if this is what you want, I'm hearing you have to be decisive. And that ties into this. You have to be decisive about who you want to be in the world. I don't really get it. I hope that makes sense for somebody. Like, it makes sense, but it came out of nowhere for me, and I hope that makes sense for somebody. Decisiveness about who you want to be in the world. And you will get to this point. You'll get to your 10 of Pentacles. Should I pull for clarification? Should I pull for any more cards? Okay, I'm being told to pull for some more cards. They said not for clarification, so that might mean the message is shifting. Ace of Cups in reverse. Interesting. The message did shift. So we know that Ace of Cups is emotional fulfillment. Essentially, that's what it is, emotional fulfillment. But when we're getting it in reverse, do you see how this fountain of grace, of fulfillment, is turned upside down, right? When it's in the upright, it's flowing into our emotional waters, fulfilling us. When it's in the reverse, it's almost like our emotional waters are being drained, right? So someone may feel like emotionally they are being drained. And maybe things, again, tying back into the Tower, maybe things that are happening in your life are draining you emotionally. And you don't feel... Pull two or one? And you don't feel, again, like you used to feel emotionally. Oh, look though. The World. This is one of my favorite cards. Oops, sorry, I'm supposed to cover her. This is one of my favorite cards. The World. The World is one of my favorite cards. I think it's one of the most beautiful cards. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. I think it's one of the most beautiful cards in the deck. And the World, as we know, is the victory in creating your world. You can see she's holding the candles, the manifesting candles that the magician has, right? And she's holding them in both hands. And around her is a laurel wreath, which is the traditional symbol of victory. What I'm getting from this is, okay. What I'm getting from this is that you... How do I say this? You have everything in you to be the world. And feelings are not necessarily facts. I hate to use that phrase, but it's true. Emotionally, you can feel like you're being drained. You can feel like you're being stunted. You can feel like you're regressing. But those feelings are not necessarily representative of who you are. What you have, what you can do. You are the world. So let me ask, I want to ask God, when we're in the energy of feeling drained emotionally and being uncertain about who we are, even though we have that inner knowing or the fact of the matter of nature that we are the world, right? I would sing the song, but how do we access that when we're emotionally, pull from the top, emotionally questioning okay, wow, guys. Emotions is a huge part of this reading. Emotions is a really huge part of this reading. The moon typically talks about hidden emotions, maybe things we even try to suppress, right? And when the moon comes out, all of those things come crawling to the surface, all of those hidden emotions, all of those things we try and impress. Look how there's the water, our emotions. Look how it's coming, crawling out the water. The animals are losing their mind. There's a gateway here, right? Let me hold it up closer. There's a gateway here, those two pillars. The moon is rising in between it, and look at these animals, almost like they're about to go down the path. You're being called to explore those emotions. You're being called to explore those hidden emotions. And there's a gateway that you will cross once you have done that. And it might lead to the world. The moon. It makes me, in a way, maybe because I've been reading more into it lately, it makes me think of Carl Jung and the Night Sea's journey, or as people also refer to it, the dark night of the soul. And what's interesting is, in these moments where we feel like we're being drained emotionally, reversed Ace of Cups, some of those hardest moments are what's beckoning us on this Night Sea's journey, on this dark night of the soul. And it's not going to feel nice. It's not going to feel lovely. It is going to feel draining. It's going to feel scary and sad and lonely. But a journey, if you think about all of the heroes' journeys, right? Never, ever, 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 ever is the whole journey rainbow and sunshine and lollipops. Think about the Wizard of Oz, right? Dorothy had flying monkeys and the creepy forest and, whatever else that fought the witch. It wasn't all munchkins and lollipops and dancing. But in the end, she learned something about herself. She learned how capable she was. She learned how brave she was. She learned how important and necessary she was to the story. And I bet if you ask Dorothy, I know she's a fictional character, but I bet if you ask Dorothy if you had to do it all over again, would you? She'd probably say yes. And maybe not in the sense that we're thinking, but if you ask somebody who went on the Night Sea's journey, if you had to do it all over again, would you? I think if you asked most of the people who have been through their Night Sea's journey, their dark night of the soul, do you regret it? I don't think most would say they would. I think that the depth of knowledge and strength and the veils that are lifted for us during these journeys, as hard as they are, I don't think most people would say, oh, I would give that up. I would give that up and go back to my life the way it was before. I don't think so. So when you're in these moments of feeling drained and feeling like maybe it isn't worth it and feeling like maybe all of your emotional security is being taken away from you, remember her, right? Maybe the world is also not just success and fulfillment and the end of a victorious journey, which is what we were talking about, right? It's worth it. It's worth it. Look at this path. Look at it. Does not look. It looks sort of freaky, right? Honestly, if someone said, "Hey, walk this path," it looks sort of freaky. But the world is the victorious resolution of something. When you walk that path, you will reach the end of it victoriously. Should I pull more? Should I pull more? Okay, I think the message is a little murky, but I will do my last pull here and see if there's any other. Told to pull this. Oh, interesting. Pull from the bottom again. Interesting. Okay. Pull one more. Yes. Top one. Good one. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, this is very interesting to me. This is very interesting to me. First card I pulled. Oh, sorry for the goofy laugh, but it's funny because it's coming together. It's Six of Swords. What is this? Night Sea's Journey. Night Sea's Journey. Six of Swords. And what does swords represent in the suite? Swords are suite. Sorry, blah. Suit. Swords are what we call logic, rational thinking. You're being asked, if you want to interpret it this way, essentially to bundle up all of your logical and rational thinking, right? About what should be and what you should do and what you should want and how you should act and how you should operate and what should be happening, right, in this point of your life. You're being asked to pack it all up, put it on this little boat, and go on the journey, go on the Night Sea's journey. Uncertain where all of these shoulds should land. If that makes sense, right? Two of Wands in reverse. I'm sorry, Two of Swords in reverse. Two of Swords we know is indecision, right? Again, logic. And look who's in the background. The moon. All of the emotion on water. Your emotion is trying to scream something at you. It's trying to beckon you. But your logic is saying you only have two options. That's why you feel blindfolded. That's why you feel confused. Because if you took the blindfold off, you'd see all of your emotional landscape is wanting to communicate with you. But you're leaning, maybe, just between the two quote-unquote logical choices that you think you have. The reverse is saying, take the blindfold off. That's what I think the reverse is saying, is take the blindfold off. Acknowledge the ocean of emotions around you that you're being beckoned by this moon here to follow. Six of Cups in reverse. Six of Cups often speaks to nostalgia. It speaks to memories of the past. It speaks to people from the past. It speaks to a feeling of safety, of hominess, right? You know, when we think back to childhood, many of us, not all of us, there's moments where we appreciate what we might consider safety of it, the simplisticness of it, right? The simplicity. my vocab, child. The reverse is telling us we might be clinging a little too heavily onto nostalgia. We might be seeing the past with rose-colored glasses. We might be wanting to go back to a nostalgic past that wasn't ever really there, right? Because it feels safe. I'm going to pull one final card. Being told to pull from the bottom of the deck. Page of Wands in reverse. Okay. Interesting. Wands we know are the creation suit. Wands I like to call sometimes I call it the manifestation suit, but wands I think also incorporate social aspects. Innovation, right? New ideas. Getting out there and being out there, and the page, like we said, is the beginning energy of that suit. What's interesting to me is that he's reversed, and I want to know why that is. Why is the Page of Wands reversed? Okay, I heard rather loudly, no need. No need. So what I'm going to take that as, and feel free to correct it if it sounds incorrect to you. But to me, what I'm going to take no need as is that there's no need to be the Page of Wands right now. There's no need. Maybe you feel a pressure to present a certain way or be coming up with these amazing ideas or embarking on a new venture, be it business, be it personal, be it, what I'm hearing is no need. There's no need. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I think I'm getting from this reading. I think this is a dark night of the soul reading. I think this is a Night Seas journey reading. I think the first 3 cards we started out with. Funny how the last card ties into the first card. I think the first 3 cards we're starting out with is speaking to the major 3 energies that we're dealing with here. The Tower, something that shook up your life and has set you on this dark night of the soul, Night Seas journey. The Page of Cups, saying that your emotions will always be there to guide you if you listen to them, right? If you acknowledge them and take them seriously. And there's no need to fight. There's no need to fight. There's no need to try and push yourself to innovate or be a maverick or embark on something. There's no need to try and fight against the circumstances, right? All these little wands popping up. There's no need to try and fight against the circumstances with the same energy. I think that's what we're really, the heart of it is trying to tell us, is that our emotions are going to lead the way. Take us on that journey, right? Our emotions. And we can step away from ration. Is ration a word? I'm sorry. We can step away from rationality, right? We can step away from what would I call this? Maybe tech bro energy, like productivity energy, right? And we can really step into going on this emotional journey. And at the end of the Night Seas journey is victory. At the end of the Night Seas journey is victory, is your victory. Because remember, you have the power. No matter how crazy the journey gets, in the law of assumption, there's this concept called the bridge of incidence, or the bridge of incidences. We don't control the how of how our manifestations come to be, but we can ensure victory. That's our power. Our power is calling in victory. You see these as above, so below manifestation candles? The magician has them too, in both of his hands too, just like she does. We have the power to call in victory. And as we go throughout, this dark night of the soul, this Night Seas journey, all we have to do is say, no matter how trying it is, no matter how scary it is, no matter how emotionally drained and challenged and unfulfilled I feel during this journey. Sorry, my camera froze. What I was going to say is, if I call in victory, I will be victorious. This will be me. The laurel wreath will be placed around me. And I know it sounds far easier said than done. But that's your power and that's your choice, right? That's our choice. That's our power, because this is resonating a lot with me. You can literally be in the belly of a beast and nobody can tell you that you can't call in victory. Nobody can control what you say in your own head, what you say out of your own mouth. You can be in a prison cell and be calling in victory. Right? You could be Jonah in the whale's belly and be calling in victory, because nobody, not even your circumstances, can stop you from calling in, believing, or saying whatever it is you want to call in, believe, or say. And if you do that, if you use that power that you have, despite what happens along the bridge of incidences, you will be the one wrapped in victory in the end. You will be wrapped in victory in the end. Because you called it as above, so below. An assumption that's persisted in must harden into fact. I don't care how crazy the world is around you. So I think that's the message, my friends. I hope it was helpful. It was helpful for me. I'm going to have to watch this back and take notes. Please stay blessed, stay hopeful, stay powerful in what you say to yourself, in what you believe, and what you tell yourself is going to happen. I believe in all of you. And I will see you next time.